Okay, good morning everyone. So welcome to our open space event today. For this session, our topic is electrifying the world, the opportunity of electrical engineers. Our speaker today for this session is Mr. Adrian Leung. He is a chartered engineer currently working as an electrical and mechanical engineer at the Drainage Service Department. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Adrian.
Good morning everybody. Welcome to the presentation of Electrifying the World, the opportunities of electrical engineers. And in this presentation today, I'm going to talk about the opportunities that is offering to electrical engineers based on the current trend and how everybody can seize the opportunities as an electrical engineer, and whether you should be in this industry if you are currently soul searching or want to change your career for that matter. So at first, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, and I'm going to talk about the purpose of this presentation, what you're going to get from this presentation, so that because there are many other sessions that's actually happening concurrently, so I do not want to waste your time if you are not actually interested in that material. So, and now I'm going to talk about the latest development in the world and how the electrical engineering industry is actually being affected, for that matter. And is there any opportunities there that we can seize in the electrical engineering industry, and how you can yourself seize it effectively? And in the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about some personal development, how you can motivate yourself and to focus on the matter that you want to learn or you want to achieve, because in this world, current world, there's a flood of information and you get distracted very easily, and there's a lot of things that you need to learn and you need to achieve. So I think being focused and being motivated is some of the skills that's extremely important for a personal development, no matter is personal development or your career development. So a little bit of background about myself. My name is Adrian Leung, and I'm currently an electrical and mechanical engineer in Drainage Services Department. And I mainly focus on the design, construction, and also testing and commissioning of sewage facilities and also drainage facilities, and also any other renewable energy system in Drainage Services Department. And I'm also a chartered engineer in Institution of Engineering and Technology. And I graduated from Hong Kong U in 2017 in electrical engineering. Because of the work's nature in the government, where most of the projects are in the form of new engineering contract, I'm also a certified new engineering contract profession, for the matter. And I'm also a part-time teacher in Hong Kong U Space. So if it's just so happened that you have enrolled in advanced diploma or high diploma in Hong Kong U Space, or in the future you want to do that, then you may be seeing me in the future. So do you actually need the information of this presentation, as there are many other concurrent sessions that's actually going on, and maybe you are also interested in other sessions. So in this presentation, I'm just going to talk about the latest development that is related to electrical engineering, and I'm going to talk about practical opportunities that you can actually seize in order to develop in this field. And at the late stage, I'm going to talk about the motivations, how you can focus on yourself and focus on your personal development and also career development in order to achieve your goals. So I would say the presentation is actually suitable for the novice. I would say a novice player in the engineering field, where you are still soul searching, you are still seeking out different careers prospects, for that matter, and you want to see if electrical engineering is actually the industry that you are interested in. So if you are an intermediate player, that you have been in the industry for a few years and you're actually pursuing your professional qualifications, then I think this presentation is also for you, because you can see what kind of opportunities is actually popping up and how you can seize it in order to advance your professional career. And if you're a advanced player in the field, in the electrical engineering field, I believe this presentation is also for you to know what's the latest development or what's the needs of this in this industry. And also staying motivated and staying focused is also an extremely important skills to stay updated and stay relevant. So without further ado, by now you should know whether this presentation is for you. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the latest development that's actually happening that's related to electrical engineering. The Hong Kong government has issued the Hong Kong roadmap on popularization of electric vehicle in 2021, and they aim that there will be no fuel-propelled private cars after 2035. And afterwards, there are a lot of tax incentives and also propaganda in order to incentivize users, new vehicle users, to adopt electric vehicles. So afterwards, the Hong Kong electric private cars in newly registered private cars soar from 6.3% in 2019 to 64.1% in 2023. So there's the latest statistics. We can see there's a surge in demand on electric vehicle charging facility, both in public and private. Nowadays, when you go to the car park, you most likely see a few or even a whole row of EV chargers that's available for you to use if you are EV users. So you can see that there's a huge demand on electric vehicle charging facility, and I'm going to talk about the related opportunities that you can seize later on. And there's the latest development in the Internet of Things, which we so-called IoT. And there's a lot of new development in the IoT sector where there are low cost and low power sensors that are actually available for use to on a large scale deployment on the field, in the electrical engineering field, or in the clients, or in different plantations, or in a huge factory where we can deploy large amount of sensors across a large area. And this is only possible because it's at a low cost and also low power, because with low power we do not have to change the sensors very frequently, which actually bump up the cost of maintaining the sensors. And when the sensors are at a low cost, you can manufacture them at a low cost, and you can deploy them without too much of a financial restraints. And so, and also the communication protocols, development of the communication protocols are also extremely important, including the proliferation of long-range wide area network, like the acronym is LoRaWAN. I think some of you may be familiar with technology, and also some of the medium range communication protocols such as ZigBee, and sensors can actually communicate with each other in a mesh network, and that the whole application is for a medium range deployment. And because of the development of this communication protocol, and also the availability of low cost and low power sensors, therefore the Internet of Things industry actually exploded in the recent years. And also artificial intelligence is also welcoming a latest development currently, and it's a hot phrase, or actually the most popular phrase in 2023 and also 2024, where a large amount of companies actually pursuing machine learning or artificial intelligence, try to incorporate the relevant technology into the regime or workflow inside the company. And I would say for the electrical engineering industry or the engineering industry as a whole, I would say tiny machine learning and also edge computing would be something that we want to adopt with the algorithm and also the computational power of chips advancing not in yearly basis or is in monthly basis. And I would say tiny machine learning and edge computing also have an advantage where you can deploy a very low power and also a quick response on the field where you do not have to dedicate all the computations and also machine learning on the cloud, but you can do all those computations on the field and give you a response rapidly, and therefore there's a low latency and also low bandwidth requirement with edge computing and tiny machine learning. I'm going to talk a little bit about the opportunities that's going to that we're going to have with all these technological development. And also for the development of renewable energy, in the climate action plan published by the Hong Kong government in 2021, we are aiming for net zero electricity generation before 2050, and we have to increase zero carbon electricity supply in the future, and we need to explore new energy sources such as natural gas in the electric power company, where it is already having a share of 50% of the fuel combination, and we need regional cooperation where the electricity is actually generated from different households in a PV panels. So here comes the feed-in tariff FIT. So you are actually selling the power back to the power company at a higher cost than the usual units of electricity. And there's also another hot word for the industry, which is hydrogen economy. The Hong Kong government should be issuing the strategy of hydrogen development in Hong Kong in mid-2024, and there will be a lot of relevant legislation amendments in the future, especially on the gas safety ordinance, because hydrogen under normal pressure is in the form of gas. So gas safety is extremely important in order for the proliferation of the use of hydrogen in the future. And I think these are the latest developments that's actually related to electrical engineering. So how can electrical engineers seize the opportunities? And I think this slide is for the novice players that I would say in the electrical field, where you still do not know what kind of sectors that you can actually work for, or you are still an intermediate player, you are still pursuing your professional qualifications, and you want to be in the best place possible in order to advance your professional career. And I would say there are different sectors in the ecology of the engineering sector, where there are clients like Hong Kong Electric, CLP, government, or the MTR, where they're going to issue different contracts to contractors and consultants in order to achieve their goals and their initiatives, such as in my line of work, which is to improve the services of sewerage facilities. And so the consultants are mainly responsible for providing the designs and advice on the design of electrical or maybe engineering infrastructures. And the contractor is going to gather all the materials required in order to achieve the wishes or the initiatives given by the clients. And suppliers are those that provide the materials required, such as the PV panels or maybe combined heat and power generators, in order to achieve the utilizations of biogas and to enhance the renewable energy generations, for that matter. So there are a lot of career opportunities in all these sectors. There are no good or bad choices, and if most of the time depends on your goals and also your life stages. So there's no better or worse choice in terms of career paths. Well, I've talked about those latest development in the world and how electrical engineers can actually seize it. So for electric vehicles, because of the proliferation of use of electric vehicles in the recent years, there's a surge of demand in electric vehicle chargers. So what we are doing is actually straining the current power system. The current power system requires at least 10 to 20 years in order to increase its capacity. However, currently we have a major demand in electric vehicle charging facilities. So how can we accommodate such a high demand in electricity, such an influx of power demand? And I think if you are as a consultant or suppliers, and then you can provide solutions of such as things like load management system, so that on the capped power, on the power restraint on existing infrastructure, how can we better utilize the energy that we have? Such as, for example, if the state of charge of an electric vehicle is relatively low against another electric vehicle with a state of charge already at 70% or 80%, so how are you going to allocate powers to those electric vehicles? You would not wish to deploy all the powers to the electric vehicle with a state of charge of 80%. That's just not logical. I mean, so you want to deploy more resources, more power to electric vehicle with a low state of charge, and how you are gonna execute or implement the solution of load management system in the existing infrastructure, I think, is the major opportunity you can seize as an electrical engineer in the electrical engineering industry. And also for the proliferation of the IoT infrastructure. And I think it enables predictive maintenance with especially online sensors. So for the two different regimes, such as preventive maintenance or reactive maintenance, there's a lot of time costs and also labor costs in between. For preventive maintenance, you have to do regular maintenance in a regular interval. Maybe the equipment do not need any maintenance at all, but you do it anyway because that's preventive maintenance, a major purpose of preventive maintenance. But for reactive maintenance, unfortunately, you would be experience some downtime, which in certain industries is actually not acceptable, such as in the power industry. How can we lose power even for a few minutes? It's going to cause chaos. So in that sense, we need the IoT infrastructure in order to allow us to conduct predictive maintenance with online sensors. And with that in mind, we are able to enable big data analysis, where we can collect a lot of data with a large scale deployment of sensors, and we can analyze them and try to find if there is any useful information that we can exploit and we can use, and to optimize our maintenance regime, such as we can provide care and also provide maintenance to the equipment that we want to protect, and to make sure that it is up and running and do not experience any unexpected downtime. So the IoT infrastructure, in my opinion, is enabling predictive maintenance where many clients are actually desirable for. And as an electrical engineer, I think you can provide a lot of insights and also inputs on how we can conduct predictive maintenance, especially for clients with a lot of assets under management. And There's also a market for the robust sensors development where some of the sensors are actually deployed in places that are extremely harsh for electronics. For example, in my line of work where some of the sensors is being deployed in places that are extremely acidic, full of hydrogen sulfide, and is extremely unfavorable to the operation of sensors of electrical equipment of any kind. So how can we deploy sensors? We need sensors that are extremely robust under this environment, and we hope that there are other sensors that allow us to collect data under this harsh environment. So there's actually a market for sensors that are extremely robust and able to work reliably and to detect things that are intended for reliably under these harsh conditions. Well, for a hot topic of 2023 and 2024, which is artificial intelligence, I've just said in the latest development, I think the relevant development for us in the engineering field will be tiny machine learning or edge computing for that matter. This because with the advancement of machine learning and artificial intelligence model, we can lower the computational power and also the computational time, and that we can enable tiny machine learning on the field and artificial intelligence. And we actually require the field experience from electrical engineers. In order to optimize the model, we cannot solely rely on machine learning engineers to help us out on all those modeling problems. We need field experience in order to optimize the whole model. For example, there's something called physical integrated neural networks, which the neural network will be embedded in the physical. Will also embed physical model and also equations, so that the predictions that's generated from the neural network will not differ from the actual reality too far away, or actually not accurate at all. So nowadays, the artificial intelligence development allowed us to conduct predictive maintenance with all those data sets available, and so we need your field expertise in order to optimize those models to make better decisions. And there are other opportunities as well, which one of them is to replace the existing equipments that are not actually in line with the initiative of reduction of power consumption and also to reduce the carbon footprint. And one of them is the replacement of sulfur hexafluoride equipment. Well, sulfur hexafluoride, I'll give it a little bit of brief description. It is actually a greenhouse gases that is 23,500 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So 1 kilogram of sulfur hexafluoride is actually equivalent to 23.5 tons of carbon dioxide being released to the atmosphere. So that's how potent it is in terms of greenhouse effect. And as a matter of fact, that European Union has already banned its use, except for the application of electrical appliances because of its excellent insulation resistance properties that is offering, and therefore it is not banned in the electrical equipment. And so, but I believe that there's a desperate need in order to replace those equipments, to find alternatives to the SF6, because it's causing chaos, I would say, to the atmosphere, and I think there's a need. But there's actual attempts to actually replace the SF6, such as using dry air, which is essentially dry nitrogen. But it's not that successful, in my opinion, and I believe that there are actually ongoing research on different synthetic gas that are with lower carbon footprint and lower greenhouse effects ongoing. So if you can be the one that introduce new gases or new products that are going to replace SF6, then I think this could be extremely useful to the electrical industry. And there's also latest development of solid-state power transformer that are going to decrease the sizes of power transformer and also enhance the efficiency of the power transformers. And it's not actually exactly deployed on a large scale yet. Most of the power transformer you see today is also huge, with a huge iron core because of the line frequency that of 50 hertz that we have to cater for. However, with much higher frequency, if we can bump up the frequency with solid state, with inverters, so to speak, and we can decrease the size of the transformers drastically and to reduce the materials required that for the installation of the transformers. And those materials originally, like mineral oils, silicon oils, synthetic oils that are used for the installation of the transformer, is not exactly environmental friendly. So, and if we drastically decrease the size of the transformer, then we can reduce the use of those environmentally unfriendly materials in this case. So you can actually be the one to introduce this kind of new products to the industry to ensure that it is going to be deployed on a large scale and to provide value for the engineering industry. And also because of the proliferation of IoT infrastructure, we are able to advance the electrical safety. But I would say electrical safety is, in this case, is also a little bit related to access management, where you detect is there any partial discharge in electrical switchboard, especially in a high voltage switchgear, and also thermal detection in low voltage switchgears, which for especially high voltage switchgear, if there's a constant or increasing partial discharge that's being being detected, then you will know it's about to fail. And I think this is something that you can enable you to do accurate, concise, and precise predictive maintenance with those infrastructure being available. And in the opportunity, in the development sections, I have mentioned about there's an increasing renewable energy use currently in Hong Kong, and therefore I would say the design for increasing distributed generation, which is actually renewable energy, is extremely important, especially as consultants and contractors. And here's the reason why: because with a lot of regional generation that is not coming from power plants, we are essentially bumping up at the third level of large-scale infrastructure. So you need a lot of innovative design, and also you need the field expertise in order to solve this problem, whether to separate the system in order to lower the fault level, or any other equipment that you can install to suppress it, whether 380 volt system is actually suitable for the current application, or you have to enhance the system to 11 kilowatt system in order to withstand the fault level, the expected fault level during a fault situation. And so you need a lot of field expertise, and such as you will have to know the fault level required for 11 kV system, which is around 350 MVA, which is translated to 18.4 kilo amperes. So you have to know these key parameters in order to provide values to infrastructure that would like to enhance the renewable energy generations. So we need your expertise for this matter. So I think the reason why all these opportunities is actually up for grabs if you are from an electrical engineering background is because of the capabilities that you have. when you studied or you graduate from an electrical engineering degree, which is first and foremost is your field expertise. No matter what kind of solution is being introduced into the industry, you need your field expertise. No matter it's in the protection, in the calculations such as voltage drop, fault level, or your expertise on maintenance or the materials of the electrical equipment. So we need your field expertise in order to introduce solutions to solve the problems, to work with expert with in other fields, such as, for example, like machine learning engineers. They need your help in order to prune their, which is optimize their neural network model to better predict whether an equipment is about to fail. And as electrical engineers, I think you possess a very strong mathematical skills. After all, you have already go through all the process of calculation of Fourier transform or affected calculations, and you will know how to calculate three phases in the power supply. So that is actually a complicated mathematics, and I think if you want to move on to other fields or to learn other knowledge, such as, for example, artificial intelligence, which is mostly statistics, is not gonna be difficult for you, and you are gonna pick it up very easily. And also, after you graduate from different degrees of electrical engineering, you are gonna get in touch with certain level of computer science, where you'll be writing codes in C++ or C or Python or R, and I think those are very important skills to acquire to practice logical thinking or the programming skills that you require, because I would say C++ and C is actually the mother of all programming, where most of the logics or rules are actually stemming from C and C++, and most of the programming language such as Python, R, JavaScript are actually borrowing concepts from C and C++, which I think is the mother of all programming language. And if you have learned that, then it's going to be easy for you to pick up new skills rapidly. And I think these are all your edges as electrical engineers, and why you should be in the electrical industry. If you are a novice player, you are still a career searching. You are still searching for your passion, for that matter. So with all these opportunities and all those development, and this development are turning into opportunities for you to seize, but you have to better equip yourself with those abilities in order to provide values for the industry. You have to constantly learning. You have to be on top of your game, and you do not want to be lagged behind in the whole game. You have to keep learning. You have to keep upgrading. You have to keep learning new skills, and to be relevant in the field. So I would say being focused and being motivated is actually a very important personal skills. That's why I include this in the presentation, because this presentation is about electrifying the world, and if you cannot electrify yourself, how can you electrify the world? So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to stay focused on your goal, to pursue your dreams and your aspiration. Well, you would think that I'm going to give you mediocre advice on how to stay focused, such as having good habits. You have to exercise regularly. You have to have minimal processed food, get regular sleep, meditate regularly. I believe all these advices is actually kind of mediocre for me, because you would have known, and a lot of people on YouTube is already telling you to do so and how to do so, and I don't think is stand up particularly for my presentation, and so I do not want to spend time to tell you. But they are actually good advices. Don't get me wrong; they are actually good advices. But I would not be presenting in my presentation, and I want to just make sure that you focus on one thing and one thing only in order to stay focused. And that advice is actually to control your dopamine. And if you can control your dopamine, you can control your focus, you can stay motivated for as long as you can, and you can actually hack your brain in order to stay focused on your goals. Nowadays, everybody is actually flooding their dopamine system with social media and notifications, such as if you are turning on your mobile phone, you'll be opening Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, and you're actually flooding yourself with information, and with new information is actually keep on agitating your dopamine system. So, if your dopamine system is already agitated, so how can you redirect the dopamine to the goals that you want to pursue? So dopamine source is actually everywhere. So you may heard somebody telling you that you have to go through dopamine detox, the detoxification of dopamine. So you actually have to turn off your phone and to prevent your dopamine system to be agitated, for that matter. When you want to rest, maybe you get your phones up and turn it on, get your daily dopamine release with all those new information, and always scrolling. But after that, you will feel tired because you're actually rewarding yourself with minimal effort. Just with a little scroll, then you get new informations, maybe something that will intrigue you, maybe they're not. Then, but after all, maybe you can get new information. So what do? You still keep scrolling, and your dopamine is released without effort. And the whole dopamine system is actually based on a balance where it's a pleasure and pain balance. So if you keep scrolling your phone, you are constantly seeking pleasure that is not accompanied with pain. It's not accompanied with effort. So you constantly seek pleasure, and you seek pleasure, and after that, do you know what you're gonna get? I'm pretty sure that you're gonna get pain, and that pain is that you do not experience the same levels of dopamine. So you keep on doing the same thing in hopes of getting the same level of dopamine, to get the same level of pleasure. That's why many people are addicted to their phones. That's the reason why. But what's waiting for them is pain. It's not pleasure. They are seeking pleasure, but what they find is pain all over the place because they cannot get the same level of dopamine jacking up. So how can we do it? So how can we ensure that our dopamine is actually directed to our goals in order to stay motivated? What if you look at this chart is the level of dopamine in your long bouts of effort. So you will see a spike of dopamine in the later stage of your effort. But throughout the whole situation where you are exerting effort, you have a very low level of dopamine. Essentially, you have a very low level of reward. So, are you sure you have the grit to ride through all those pain, all those hurdles, all those barriers? Can you overcome all of these with very low levels of dopamine? I guess somebody can. I guess somebody can. And when they exert a lot of effort for a long bouts of time, they finally get the fame and fortune. Then they get the huge release of dopamine in the end. But I believe most of us are unable to endure a long period of motivation. We are talking about years of effort being exerted. So do you actually have the grit in order to ride through? But I would say probably you are not going to go through the whole stages. Well, on another extreme, you get your dopamine very early. You get a lot of motivation to do something. At the start, you feel energetic, you feel very hopeful, you feel the euphoria of the whole effort, and you get a jack of dopamine at the very beginning, and then you get a crash. So if you have already received your reward in the early stage of your effort, are you going to continue to work as hard? And when you get a crash, are you sure that you are going to get your dopamine? Are you going to get your reward back up effectively during your long bouts of effort? I highly doubt that. I can speak from a personal point of view that every time I go to travel, I always plan ahead everything, and I get very excited. But during the trip, I don't get the same level of dopamine release, so the trip is actually not really exciting at all because I've already anticipated what I'm going to do on the trip. So to me, I don't really like to. After that, I don't really like to plan the trip in order not to jack my dopamine up in the beginning of the effort, so I can actually enjoy the trip on the way. It's just my personal experience, but it actually happened. If your dopamine level is being jacked up too high, it's going to crash. You do not have the motivation in order to continue your effort. So what's the right way of doing it? I would say is to avoid getting hyped up about your effort or your endeavor, and absolutely avoid euphoria on success. Basically, you should hijack your brain in order to associate efforts, in order to associate pain with dopamine. All right, when you are doing something, you're actually enjoying it. When you are learning something, maybe it is hard, but when you overcome it, you should reward yourself with dopamine, and not reward yourself dopamine with the end results. All right, so you can continue to exert effort with the association with dopamine, and you will be extremely motivated and extremely laser focused on the goals that you want to achieve. If you are associating effort with dopamine, essentially you are actually associating pain with dopamine. And if you're constantly seeking pain, what else you're going to get on the other side of the balance? I would say it's pleasure. Very likely it's pleasure if you are constantly seeking pain. Well, not exactly pain, but I think effort is as one kind of pain for that matter. And there's another tips that I think there's a real situation where you go to casinos, people go to casinos, the casinos earn a lot of money every year, but the reason why people are addicted to gambling is because they do not know whether they are going to win. Sometimes they do, but not every single time when they take the bet, right? Um, if the customers of the casino is always winning, the casino is going to go bankrupt. And if the casinos is not allowing the customers to win at all, nobody is going to go to the casino, right? So why casinos or gambling is actually very addictive is because of the uncertain nature, intermittent nature of gambling. You sometimes win, you sometimes don't, but you keep your hopes high and you keep on doing the same thing all over again. And that's why our brain is being hijacked in order to keep on doing the same thing addictively. That's the nature of gambling. And I'm telling you, you can turn the house edge to your side. You can be the house. You can be the casino. You can hack the brain like the casino, which is not to reward yourself with dopamine every time you win. Sometimes you just have to let it slide by. On maybe you are acquire your professional qualifications. Maybe this time you don't have to feel happy. You don't have to feel euphoria. You don't have to celebrate. Maybe next time when you get some kind of reward, then you celebrate. So you have to hack your brain not to reward yourself with dopamine every single time. So in this way, you are able to continue your effort every single time. If you are every single time you exert your effort, then you get your dopamine. I guarantee you that you are not going to be addicted to exerting effort at all. In order to be addicted to efforts, you have to reward yourself intermittently without any regular intervals, such as flipping a coin. So that way you can hack the brain into constantly exerting effort for a long period of time, and that's exactly how you can do it, to be the casino of yourself and to gain the house edge for yourself. And so with all these informations or the latest development and the opportunities that are presented to you, and also personal growth advices, I hope that after the presentation you're able to electrify yourself, and so that together we can electrify the world together and provide value. And so this is the end of the presentation, and thank you for your participation.
Okay, so it's our question time. Does anyone have any questions? So if you have questions, feel free to type them in the YouTube live chat, and also if you have questions in our venue, you can also raise your hands and we can pass you the microphone. So Adrian, I got a question for
Please.
you.
Of course. Of course.
opportunities 啊嘛，咁但係即係個 path 啊，嗰個途徑係點樣去得啊
？I should respond in English or in Cantonese in that matter. 哦，OK，我會話你話有好多 opportunities 俾你，但係其實實際上面嗰啲 opportunities 其實係好難去做到嘅，每一個都好難嘅。冇如果好易嘅話，有人做咗噶啦，其實已經。我話每一條 path 都係每個人行出嚟嘅，我冇可能去 spoon feed 大家去俾晒成條 path 大家，但係其實有 ongoing research 嘅，每一個頭先我講嘅 aspect 其實都有 ongoing research 去做緊呢樣嘢。如果你係可以做一個即係 front runner， 你係可以去好早已經帶到呢啲新嘅 technology 去俾個 industry 嘅話，我相信好多嘅 clients 都係好想去用呢啲咁嘅 technology。譬如話如果你有一個好大型嘅 PV system， 而你係用 solid state power transformer， 你係可以eliminate 唔使再用 inverter， 咁你可以減低嗰個 energy loss。咁 in this way 其實你係可以俾 clients 呢啲咁嘅 equipment 去 make sure 佢有一個好啲嘅 performance。咁對於你嚟講就係一個俾緊 value 出去啦。咁 in this way 你都可以 provide value to 個 industry。
我諗係咪應該要考慮就係即係點樣即係去學院攞到嗰個學歷，跟住又要去一個訓練 training， 又要攞牌係咪？即係嗰啲叫做 license 係咪？又或者叫做專業嘅 membership， 咁然後先至去做唔同嘅崗位。咁所以你正話講嗰啲唔同。係咪有一即係唔同嘅方向，唔同佢哋有咩點樣做咧？咁所以我有興趣想了解，譬如有 Edge computing 啊，又 IoT 啊，係咪又嗰個叫做 predictive maintenance 啊咁呢啲唔同嘅 opportunity， 你點樣可以即係咪要讀啲咩科目，又要攞啲咩 license？去啲邊啲類型嘅僱主，你先會有得俾得你做係嘛？
嗱，我會話其實咧喺現今世界咧，你話要學一樣嘢咧，其實基本上你自己想學咧，喺網上面都可以學到，唔一定要 qualifications 嘅。To be honest，
但係佢俾唔俾你做得㗎？冇人俾你做啊嘛，你要有僱主揾你俾你做啊。
哦，咁當然啦，你需要揾到個 demand， 咁你先去 supply 俾個 solution 俾唔同嘅人啊。咁當然我會話其實你係需要知道人哋係要啲咩先咯。咁之後你俾唔俾你做係睇下你去唔去 好 actively 去 seek 呢啲咁嘅 opportunities。我相信如果你係知道有咁嘅 demand，而你係有咁嘅 solution 去 meet 到嗰個 supply，咁我相信大家都會去 appreciate 去俾個機會大家去合作咯。即係呢一個係我覺得去揾嗰個 demand。其實我今呢個 talk 講嘅 opportunities 其實好多都係我覺得係一個 demand 嚟嘅，即係最少喺我自己個 line of work 裏面係一個 demand 嚟嘅。咁如果你係可以 satisfy 到呢個 demand 嘅話，咁我覺得嗰度係有好多 opportunities 俾佢。你話係咪一定要我一定要係一個 professional 或者攞一個 professional qualification？ 你係咪一定要變咗一個特許工程師，或者你係一個Hong Kong IE 嘅 register 嘅工程師？咁係咪一定要係咁呢？其實我覺得都未必嘅。即係行裏面有好多人其實係冇呢啲 qualification， 但係其實佢 keep 住係俾唔同嘅 solutions 去唔同嘅 clients 嗰度，唔係話你俾唔俾你，其實最緊要係究竟你俾緊嘅價值究竟足唔足以令到人去俾機會你咯。
咁你點樣去揾呢啲人啊？
就係靠 networking 咯，即係我覺得 networking 其實我可以見到好多唔同 industry 嘅人去知道你有冇呢啲咁嘅需要咯。係，你有咁嘅需要，跟住你去再去 develop 個 solution，唔係調翻轉你去 develop 咗個 solution 先再去揾你需要嘅 demand。係啦，即係呢個我覺得喺呢個 talk 裏面我都想講嘅嘢。
Okay, so Adrian, I also got a question for you. So,
Sure.
With the development in the Greater Bay Area and the increasing linkage between Hong Kong and mainland China, would there be any opportunity for potential electrical engineer to take advantage of this?
I would say to clients is actually an excellent opportunities in the electrical engineering field, because with the greater cooperation opportunities with the Greater Bay Area, the companies in the Greater Bay Area, I would say we can drive down the cost and also to introduce new talents to the industry, in Hong Kong especially. And so I would say for clients it's actually an excellent opportunities to cooperate with Greater Bay Area. But I would say for consultants and contractors or suppliers, I would say it's actually a crisis. But in Chinese, when there's a crisis, there's always opportunities. And I believe that as contractor or consultants, what you are actually selling is either the three things: is time, money, or expertise. You cannot sell your money. You are not a bank. You cannot provide financial support, and you cannot sell time. I mean, basically, in mainland China, there's a lot of cheaper labor forces that is readily available in order to replace you. So what you can actually sell is expertise, innovative solutions where the sky's the limit. I mean, whatever you think, there's always a solution that you can formulate. So I think to contractors and consultants is actually a crisis, but the opportunity is you have to transform yourself into providing innovative solutions actively, and in order to seek whether there's a demand for innovative solutions, and or try to satisfy those demand with the supply of innovative solutions, which is extremely hard to replace with those talents. And I would say, therefore, I would say across the whole industry, no matter whether you are working as a client, in the consultants, as contractors, or suppliers, there are opportunities, but obviously there are crises ahead of them. Yep.
Okay, so one more question. So could you give us a bit more perspective on the job market outlook for people with different academic qualifications? Say, for example, if I hold a diploma or advanced diploma, what kind of role could I fill in the various development mentioned?
I would say suppliers and contractors and contractors and suppliers are your best bet if you are having high diploma and advanced diploma. For that matter, I'm actually skipping on the technical grade staff, such as in the government you can enter technical grade for that matter. But I'm gonna skip it and just jump right into the engineering industry. So if you are holding high diploma, advanced diploma, I think your best bet is to enter a contractor, or also and also the suppliers. the bigger the better, and you can get more expertise and experience in order to enrich your experience. And so you would know the demand and the pain points of the industry, and try to solve those pain points. And so and from that you can develop yourself professionally, and also continue to learn and acquire bachelor degree or master degree in order to become a professional engineer. And so and then you can try to get into consultants or clients, and to provide different solutions to different parties in order to contribute to the engineering industry. And I think that's the roadmap in general in terms of qualifications. But I would say opportunities is actually everywhere. You do not actually confine yourself to what kind of qualification you need, or the professional qualification that you have to acquire, but focus on how you can actually provide value to others is something that I believe is way more important than so-called qualification or certifications itself. So that's my honest opinion. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. So that's it for today. So if after today's session, so if you're interested in learning more about electrical engineering, we do have a couple of courses that you can join. So we have Diploma in Building Service Engineering. That's also about buildings and also about electrical stuff inside a building. And we also have Advanced Diploma in Engineering, in which we have two streams. So you have the electrical engineering stream and also the building service stream. And we also have some related modules, certificate for modules, those two of them that are part of the advanced diploma that you might be like to choose to study if you have been studying for maybe say building service engineering. And we also have a Bachelor of Engineering with honor in energy and building service engineering. So the details, the QR code and the URL are also on the slide. So if you want to check them out, please feel free to do so. So thank you for joining our today's session, and yeah, thank you for Adrian for sharing today. Thank you.